Okay, this is a video for 5th years coming up to their Christmas test, and we'll start with the first question, question 1. Now question 1 says simplify, so it's asking us to simplify 3x minus 2 into 2x minus 5. Now what we got to do here is we got to break it up into two sections, okay? So the first number here comes out, 3x, it gets followed by the second bracket, which is the 2x minus 5. And then you have the second number, which is the minus 2, comes out here, and it's followed by also the 2x minus 5. Now, you got to multiply these out. So we got to multiply 3x by 2x, multiply the normal numbers by here, so 3 by 2 is 6, and then you have x multiplied by x, which is xx, or 6x squared. The next one is 3x multiplied by minus 5, multiply 3 by minus 5, you get minus 15, so there's minus 15x's. Minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. Minus 2 by minus 5 is plus 10. Okay, now in the center you're going to have these two parts here, the minus 15 and the minus 4x. Put that into your calculator. You're going to get 6x squared minus 19x plus 10. Okay, so quite an easy question to start off with. Next question. We're asked to simplify, and this is question 2 now. We're asked to simplify x minus 3 into x plus 5 minus x into x plus 2 plus 15. Okay, so what can happen here is the following. We once again break it up, so the first number comes first number, second bracket, which is the x plus 5. Then the second number, which is this minus 3 here, comes down, minus 3, second bracket again, x plus 5. Okay, now we can multiply this one out here while we're here. So minus x multiplied by x is minus xx, or x squared. Minus x multiplied by plus 2 is minus 2x. And then we have our plus 15 at the end. Okay, next step, x by x is x squared. X by 5 is plus 5x. Minus 3 by x is minus 3x. Minus 3 by plus 5 is minus 15. That's going to be minus x squared minus 2x plus 15. Now, what we're going to check out next here is that basically what will cancel. So we notice that plus 1x squared minus 1x squared cancels. Next thing we're going to do is count the x's. 5x minus 3x minus 2x. And basically what we have there is basically 5 minus 3 minus 2. That cancels to 0. And then finally we have minus 15 plus 15. And that also cancels to 0. So basically our answer here is going to be 0. Okay, next question. Question 3. We're asked to simplify. So once again, what simplify means, simplify questions generally don't have any equal signs in them. So simplify is a plus a bracket b plus c, or a multiplied by b plus c, minus b multiplied by c plus a, minus c into a minus b. Now what we got to do here is we got to multiply them out. So a multiplied by b is ab, a multiplied by c is plus ac. Generally keep it in alphabetical order if you can. Minus b multiplied by c is minus bc. Minus b multiplied by a is minus ab. Minus c multiplied by a is minus ac. I like to keep it in alphabetical order. And then finally minus c multiplied by minus b is going to be two minuses when multiplied together give you a plus, so it's going to be plus bc. Now let's look across and see what cancels out. AB cancels with minus AB. AC cancels with minus AC. And finally, minus BC cancels with plus BC. And the answer for this is 0. Okay, next one. This is our first solve question. Okay, now you notice the big difference between a solve and a simplify question is the presence of an equal sign at the start. So it's going to be 5 multiplied by x plus 4 minus 3 into x minus 4 equals 40. Now, notice that there's an equal sign right here. hence it's a solved question, okay? So just get rid of 2 of them. Now let's start multiplying these out. 5 times x, 5x. Now this is actually what's called solving linear equations, okay? Now the reason why this is called solving linear equations is there's no x squareds, okay? So it's just the highest power is x, okay? So this is solving linear equations. 5 times x, 5x. 5 times 4 is plus 20. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x. Minus 3 by minus 4 is plus 12. This equals 40. Okay. Tidy up and bring the 40 over to your side. When you bring the 40 over to your side, what you can simply do is what we had there was plus 12. So when we bring the 40 over to your side, what we can say is that's minus 40 equals 0. So just save yourself a bit of writing there. Next one is going to be 5x minus 3x is 2x. 20 plus 12 is 32. 32 minus 40 is minus 8 equals 0. You need to, because it's a linear equation, you need the x's on one side and all the numbers on the other side, so that turns back into plus 8. Therefore x is equal to 8 divided by 2. X therefore is equal to 4. Okay. Next one we gotta do is question 5. And once again, question 5 is going to be a solve question. It's going to be solve 5 plus 2 into x minus 1 equals x plus 4 brackets x minus 3. Now what we gotta have here is we gotta multiply out 2x and 2 by minus 1, so we're going to end up with 5 plus 2x minus 2, and that's going to be equal to x plus, draw the lines here, 4 multiplied by x is 4x, 4 multiplied by minus 3 is minus 12. Now tidy up both sides, so we're going to get 2x, then 5 minus 2 is plus 3, x plus 4x is 5x minus 12. Now let's put the x's on one side and the y and the other numbers over the other side. Okay, so this goes left, the 3 goes right. So what we're going to have now is we're going to have 2x minus 5x equals minus 12, and the green result of the green arrow is going to turn into minus 3. Okay, now next thing we're going to have here is minus 3x equals minus 15. Now what you can do here is when you have an equation that has an equal sign, you're allowed to do whatever you want to both to either side. So we're going to change signs, which means that we're going to change them. We're going to change whatever sign is on each side. So it's going to be 3x equals 15. Okay, and what happens next is x equals 15. The 3's multiply on the left, which makes it division on the right. So x is going to be equal to 5. Okay, that is question 5 completed. Now we're on question 6. Now question 6 is a simultaneous equation. Okay, now the difference between a linear and a simultaneous, sorry, it's not a simultaneous equation, skip the page. Oh wait, it is, yeah, sorry, excuse me. It is a simultaneous equation. Right, so this is the next question. Okay, I'm going to call it question 6. Now, it says solve for x and y. Now, this is called a simultaneous equation because there's x and y in this, not just x. If it was just x on its own, it would be a linear equation, but it's a simultaneous equation. So we have here 3x minus 4y equals minus 3. This is one linear equation because there's no squareds in it, okay? And the next one is also a linear equation because there's once again no squareds in it. Now, 3 equals 5 over 2. Now, we have two equations, A and B. Now, currently B looks the more difficult one, so we're going to have to give B a bit of a makeover, okay? Now, when doing fractions, I'll always do the left side first, and to do fractions, I always draw 3 lines. One line, blue line, red line, and green line. Now what this means is the following. The blue line means multiply 2 by 3. Multiply 2 by 3 to get 6. The green line, which is the furthest left, it finishes furthest left here, is multiply 3 by x. And that's going to get us 3x. Okay, and the red line is 2 multiplied by y, which is plus 2y. Okay, and that equals 5 over 2. The next step, what I do is I cross multiply. So what I'll do is I'll bring, when you're cross multiplying, you got to make sure that there's only one fraction on each side. So this number here, for instance, I'm allowed to cross multiply this because there's only one fraction on the right hand side and there's only one fraction on the left hand side. Basically everything is over the same denominator. So everything's over 6 on this side, everything's over 2 on this side. So I'm going to bring the 6 up here, put this in brackets, and then bring the 2 up here. Okay, and what we're going to get is 2 multiplied by 3x plus 2y, and that equals 6 multiplied by 5, which is going to be 30. Okay, now multiply this out, and what we're going to get here is we're going to get 6x plus 4y equals 30. Now, that's equation B. We've forgotten all about equation A, which is 3x minus 4y equals minus 3. Okay. Now, to do a simultaneous equation, I realized that this has actually worked out quite easily. Okay, so let's imagine that so we'll just solve this now. Okay, so to solve this, all what we gotta do, we're sort of missing a key component in this, so I'm going to teach us another simultaneous equation after this. Okay, so the first thing we notice is that the 4y's cancel. When you add them down, the 4y's cancel. So if you imagine 3 channels, the green channel here, okay, then we have the blue channel, or the blue line, and then we have the red line over here. So what you gotta do is you gotta add them downwards. Okay, so what happens here is 6x plus 3x gives you 9x, plus 4y minus 4y is 0, and 30 minus 3 is 27. So what you actually get out of this is 9x equals 27. X therefore is 27 over 9. X equals 3. Now you don't get full marks for this, because what you have to do is you have to sub it back in. You have to sub x equals 3 back into one of these original equations. I'm going to choose equation A. So when I choose equation A, I'm going to get 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to get 9 minus 4y equals minus 3. I'm going to bring the 9 over the other side, so I'm going to get minus 4y equals minus 3 minus 9. And then I'm going to get minus 4y equals minus 12. I'm going to change the signs on both sides, so it's going to get 4y equals plus 12. Therefore, y equals 12 over 4, y equals 3. Okay. Okay, so the next question is another simultaneous equation. I just added this one in just because of the way the last one worked out. Okay, so this is another simultaneous equation, and it wants us to solve for x and y. Okay, now what happens is we have to pick a letter to get rid of. Okay, so whichever letter you want to pick, you can get rid of. So what I always do is, if I say select the y's to get rid of, I put like a window in between the two y values. So the number 3 looks through the window, it sees a number 4. So that means I'll multiply the top equation by 4, and I'll multiply the bottom equation by 3. Okay? And you could do this 2 different ways. Okay? So I'm going to divide this into half and show you 2 different ways of doing the same question. This one here is the red line. When it looks through the mirror, okay, what you see here is that the 2 sees 3, so I'd multiply the top one by 3 in this case, and I can multiply the 3 sees the 2, so I multiply the 2 by the bottom. I multiply that equation by 2. So I'm going to do a red solution and a blue solution. Okay, so I'm going to start off first of all with the red solution here. Okay, multiply that by 3. I'm going to get 6x plus 9y equals 18. Okay. Multiply the bottom one by 2 as well. I'm going to get 6x minus 8y equals minus 50. Okay. Now, what I have to do is I'm going to have to change the sign to make sure that it cancels. Okay, so I have to change the sign to make sure that it cancels. So I'm going to have to go around and change the sign. So I'm going to go turn that into a minus, because 6x minus 6x is 0. Change that to a plus, and change this one here to a plus as well. So what we're going to get is 17y. This is going to turn to 0. 17y equals 68. And therefore y is going to equal to 68 divided by 17. And y therefore equals 4. Now, once you get y equals 4, you go back to the top and you put in 2x plus 3y equals 6. Okay, so I'm going to use that equation. Okay, so what I'm going to use is 2x plus 3y equals 6. Replace y with 4. So we're going to end up with 2x plus 12 equals 6. Bring the 12 over to your side, it comes minus 12. So 6 minus 12 is going to be minus 6. And therefore x is going to be minus 6 over 2. X is going to be equal to minus 3. Now, so the answer is 4, and y equals 4, x equals minus 3. Now imagine I did this the other way, where I multiplied the top by 4 for the blue one. So we're going to get 8x plus 12y equals 24. And the other way of doing this is to multiply the bottom one by 3, which is going to get me 9x minus 12y equals minus 75. Okay. So what we're going to get here is when we add them directly down, we're going to get 17x plus 0, because the y's will cancel each other off now. 12y and plus 12y and minus 12y cancel each other off. 24 minus 75 is minus 51. Therefore 17x equals minus 51. X equals minus 51 over 17. X equals minus 3. Now that's exactly the same result we got down here, except we did the x first. Now all we gotta do is pick the equation at the start again, which is 2x plus 3y equals 6. And all what we gotta do there is plug in our answer. So we get 2 times minus 3 plus 3y equals 6, minus 6 plus 3y equals 6. Move this minus 6 out the other side, and we get 3y equals 12. And therefore y equals 12 divided by 3, which is equal to 4. So it shows you both solutions get you the same answer. Okay. Now, next one, factorizing. Okay, so we're on, we call this, that was question 6, that was an extra question, so we're on question 7 now. Okay, so what's asked me to do is ask me to factorize this. Factorize, once again, there's not going to be any equal sign in this question. Now, 5x squared minus 6 minus x minus 6. Now, I do what's called the reference number method. Okay, so reference number, and I multiply 5 by 6. Okay, and when I multiply 5 by minus 6, I get minus 30. Now, I look at the answer in the middle here, and I see that it's a minus 1. I have to think of two factors that multiply together to give you minus 30, but add together to give you minus 1. So we're going to start off maybe 1 and 30, or sorry, minus 1 and 30, 30 and minus 1. We could go for minus 2 and 15, maybe plus 2 and minus 15. We could do 3 and 10, maybe 6 and 5, 6 and minus 5 plus 6, or minus 6 plus 5. Now you got to highlight which one works. Okay, so the answer for the first one, you have to use them together. I can only get minus 29 for that. I can get plus 29 for this one, no good. This one is plus 13, that's no good. The last one here is minus 13, that's no good. This one here is plus 1. I'm looking for minus 1, so that's no good either. This one here, finally, minus 6 plus 5 gets you minus 1, which is what we're looking for. Now, what we do is we split this minus 1x up into these two numbers. So what we can have is minus 6x plus 5x, and we can have 5x squared minus 6. Okay. Now I'm going to show you two ways of doing this question as well. You could split up that way, or you could split it up this way. It doesn't really matter. Once the middle part is equal to minus 1. So that part there is minus 1x, and this part here is also minus 1x. See? So it doesn't really matter, alright? So what we do is we'll factorize it. You take x out of this, so we're going to be left with x into 5x minus 6. Now we can't take anything out of this because 5 and 6, there's no factors of 5 and 6. So what we always tend to know with these factorized equations is that the second bracket is always the same as the first bracket. So we just had to pick a number to go in here, and plus 1 will work perfectly, because when you multiply plus 1 by that you get 5x minus 6. When you multiply x by that you get 5x squared, and x by that is minus 6x, so you know it's correct. So you're just going in reverse. So these two numbers here, they go out in front, and this number here, the second bracket, this is the same bracket twice, that goes into 5x minus 6. Okay, so that's perfect. Now imagine you did it this way. Same deal. What can you take out of the first two? You can actually take 5 out of the first two. So you can take 5 and x out of the first two, and that leaves x plus 1. You can take now this one is potentially a problem here, right? If you take out just plus 6, what you're going to be left with is minus x minus 1. And you notice that both brackets don't match up. If this happens, instead of taking out plus 6, try and take out minus 6. Okay? So minus 6 into minus 6 times x is minus 6x. Minus 6 times plus 1 is minus 6. And now, as you can see, that both brackets are now the same. So what you're going to notice is that the 5x minus 6 goes into the first bracket, and the x plus 1 goes into the second bracket. And you can actually see that both answers are the same. It's basically one number multiplied by another number. The first number multiplied by the second number, but this one is the second number multiplied by the first number. In the same way that 3 multiplied by 2 equals 2 multiplied by 3. It's the same thing, okay? Because it's multiplication, and multiplication is commutative, okay? Now, next one. Factorize x squared minus 25. Okay, so when we're factorizing x squared minus 25, there's an equation that we need to have learned off by heart, and this equation is this: x squared minus y squared is x plus y, x minus y. This isn't in your tables, you gotta have it learned off. Okay, and what's going to happen here is we're going to put it in. So we're going to have x squared minus 25 directly underneath. Now 25, to recognize these questions, you always have a squared number, and you always have one of these numbers: 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Basically 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. And we know this one here is 5 squared, so x squared minus 5 squared. Now if we look directly down, x is x. So x is in the x positions, okay, and y equals 5, so it's x plus 5, x minus 5, okay, that's the answer to that one. Now, the next one we have here is another factorized one, and it's factorized 2x squared plus 4x, okay. Now to solve this one, what we need to do is we need to take 2x, we need to factorize it, so we have to see what they have in common. 4 and 2. 2 divides into 4. That means we can take 2 out. Both of them have x's, okay? We're only allowed to take one x from each one, so I'll take 1 from each, and that leaves 2x here. Now you gotta think, the plus is in the middle of the brackets. 2x multiplied by what number is 2x squared? 2x by x is 2x squared, as in 2xx. What multiplied by 2x gets you 4x? 2x multiplied by 2 gets you 4x. So the answer is 2x into x plus 2. Okay. Next one after this, these are going to be solve equations, okay? Now, to do solve equations, we can do it two ways, okay? So we have a quadratic equation. So solve equations, okay? And we're solving quadratics. Now the reason why these are quadratic equations is because there's x squareds in them. Okay, so it's 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 equals 0. Okay? We can do this two ways. The first way is I'm going to use the reference number again. And the reference number is the first number multiplied by the last number, which gets you minus 24. Break up minus 24 into two numbers that can make up 10. Now, some people might go for 6 and 4, and there's another combination of 12 and 2. Now, 6 and 4 won't work because one of these have to be minus. So you can have minus 6 plus 4, or you can have plus 6 minus 4. The first one gives you minus 2. We're looking for 10. So it can't be that one. The next one gives you plus 2. Can't be that one. But 12 and 2, what we can do is we can say plus 12 minus 2, and that gives you 10. So this one is correct. Break up 10x into 12x minus 2x. Okay. And what we can get next is we're going to factorize 3 and 12. Does 3 divide into 12? Yes, it does. Is there any letters in common? Yes, there is. There's the letter x is in common, so we can take out 3x. 3x multiplied by what number is 3x squared? It's 3x by x is 3x squared. 3x multiplied by 4 gives you 12x. Next thing out, take out minus 2. The reason we're taking out minus 2 is because we knew that the second bracket had to be the same, okay? The second bracket has to be the same as the first bracket. So if you will, you can just leave it blank for a second and say, well, what number multiplies by x to give you minus 2? And you obviously minus 2x, and the answer is minus 2, because minus 2 by x is minus 2x, minus 2 by 4 is minus 8. Then you're left at the finish, where you can have 3x minus 2, because these are these two numbers here, and then finally this repeats itself, and we can have x plus 4 equal to 0. And what we can get next is you have to divide it down the middle. So this is two numbers, a blue number multiplied by the green number, and the answer is 0. This means that either the blue number equals 0 or the green number equals 0. So 3x minus 2 equals 0, or x plus 4 equals 0. So what we got to do next is we got to bring over the 2, and we get 3x equals 2, and therefore x equals 2 over 3. Or we bring over 4 to the other side, and we get x equals minus 4. Okay, so that's grand. Now, for those of you who might find factorizing a bit difficult, okay, what we can do as well is we can do the minus b formula, okay? So what you could do is the second way of doing this would be the minus b formula, where you can do this. Okay, so the minus b formula could look like this. The minus b formula, if you look at it in your tables, it's going to be ax squared plus bx plus c. It's on page 18. Okay, it says roots of a quadratic formula, and then it gives you this formula here, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, what's going to happen next is we're going to have to fill out what each letter is. A is 3, B is 10, and C is minus 8. Okay. Now once we've done that, we can fill them into the formula. So we're going to get x equals. Now remember, if b is 10, minus b is minus 10. you can change the signs on both sides. So you get minus 10 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So we put 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times minus 8, and we divide it by 2a, so 2 times 3. Now, what you need to do next is you need to insert this part into your calculator, okay? Exactly as it looks on the whiteboard here, okay? So insert that into the calculator. Okay, so what we have here is just put this straight into the calculator, so we get the root of 10 squared. 10 squared minus 4 bracket 3 bracket minus 8. Okay, and what we get is 14. Okay, so we're going to get x equals minus 10 plus or minus 14 all over 6. Okay, all over 6. So remember, this means there's two possible answers. It means there's minus 10 plus 14 over 6, or x is equal to minus 10 minus 14 over 6. So when you put this into your calculator, just put it all into your calculator exactly as it looks, and what you can get for both answers is you can get both answers as the first answer is going to be 2 over 3, and the second answer there is going to be minus 4. So that's the answer to that question. Now, the next question is minus a third. It's a solve question again. So solve question is minus a third x squared minus 12 equals 0. So what you can do here, we'll solve this two different ways, okay? The first way is to do get rid of the fractions, and I could do my 3 lines again. So my 3 lines would look like this: blue, red line, and green line. And what we're going to have here is we're going to have 1x squared, because 1 multiplied by 1 is still 1x squared. The green line results in minus 36, and the blue line results in 3, and this equals 0. Now, what we can get here is when you cross multiply, 0 is 0 over 1. So you can cross multiply again, bring the red line up here, and bring the, let's say, purple line up here. So 1 multiplied by x squared minus 36 is still x squared minus 36. 3 multiplied by 0 is 0. Now, you have the difference of two squares, where x squared minus 36. So what you can say here is that you can say x squared, minus 6 squared equals 0. Then you can have x minus 6, x plus 6 equals 0. Put your dots down here, and then we can say that x equals 6, or x minus 6 equals 0. So either the first number equals 0 or the second number equals 0. So you have x minus 6 equals 0, bring over 6, x equals 6, or x plus 6 equals 0, bring over the 6, and it becomes a minus 6. Now, that's the answer there. Another way of doing this same question would have been to say a third x squared, bring over the 12 originally. Okay, so we'll just rub all this out for a minute. Okay, rub out these lines. What we could say is, and the 1 disappears. Okay, what we could do here is we could say a third x squared equals 12. So basically x squared over 3 equals 12 over 1. We could cross multiply again. Okay, and what we'd get here is x squared equals 36. Now, what you can do here is you can square root both sides. So x therefore equals root 36. Now here's where a lot of people make mistakes. They say the only number root 36 is 6. but there's another number that multiplies by itself to give you 36, and the answer is minus 6. So while this way is faster, unfortunately enough, everybody tends out to leave out the other answer of minus 6. Okay. Now, the one after this is solving. We gotta solve a half x squared plus x equals 0. Now once again, because I have fractions, I'll always do the same move. I'll always just do my 3 lines. Okay, so we call that green, call this one red, and call this one here, where's the other one? We'll call it purple today. Okay, so what we can do next is multiply 1 by x squared is going to be just x squared. The green line is 2 multiplied by 1, which is all over 2. The next line after that is 2x. 2 multiplied by x is 2x. So plus, sorry, that's purple line, plus 2x. And all of this equals 0. Now it's the same thing as 0 over 1. You can cross multiply then. 1 multiplied by x squared plus 2x is still x squared plus 2x. 2 multiplied by 0 is still 0. So now we're left with this part here. Now, you could do it 2 ways, okay? Now, let's say you were confused and you didn't really know how to go from here. The easiest way to do it is to realize that you can factorize it. And when you factorize it, you're going to get x into x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, so you can take it out. And either the first number equals 0 or the second number equals 0. So either the first number equals 0, that means x equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, so you could get x equals 0 or x equals minus 2. Now, as a backup, if you weren't to see that, you could always try the minus b formula. Okay, where you could say x squared plus 2x plus 0 equals 0. And what you could say here is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A would be equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 0. And you'd still get these two answers out the same way if you were stuck and didn't realize what to do. Okay, but this way is obviously the faster way. Now, next question after this is we're going to solve 3x minus 1. So we're asked to, excuse me. So which question are we on now? We're on, it's down as question 6, so we'll just say we call this solve 3x minus 1 over 2 equals x over 4 plus 9 over 2. Now, what I'll always do is I'll pick the side that has more fractions, which is the right side. I'll draw the blue line, 4 goes to 2, red line, 4 goes to 9, and green line, 2 goes up to x. So what we'll get here is 2x plus 36 divided by 8. And over here is going to be 3x minus 1 divided by 2. Now what we can do next is cross multiply. So bring the 2 up here and bring the 8 up here. So what we get is 8 multiplied by 3x minus 1 equals red line, which is going to be 2 into 2x plus 36. 2 multiplied by all of this, and 8 multiplied by 3x minus 1 over the other side. So what we'll get here is 8 multiplied by 3x is 24x, 8 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 8, 2 multiplied by 2x is 4x, 2 multiplied by 36 is 72. Bring the 4x over the other side, bring the 8 over this side, and what we'll get here is 24x minus 4x equals 72 plus 8. So we get 20x equals 80. X equals 80 divided by 20. X equals 4. Okay. So that's the answer to that question. Now, the next one is like a sort of like a weighing scale, okay? So